Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
Today we're taking a look at Satchel Quest by Weird City Games.
Satchel Quest is a game that is coming to crowdfunding here in the very near future, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video after you watch it. Now, this is a game that comes from a set of designers that you're probably familiar with if you know Flat Out Games, as these designers put out nearly all the games for Flat Out Games. And this particular one is coming to us from Weird City Games, and this is going to be a bag building dungeon crawler. And it's a different kind of dungeon crawler because really what this is going to be more like tile laying as you draw from your bag. You're going to be drawing things out of your bag and deciding where in your dungeon you're going to put this as you explore your dungeon and you get further and further into your dungeon. Let's take a look at how it plays down below, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, I have Satchel Quest on the table. Well, at least part of it anyhow. What you will be seeing here is prototype, so I want to make sure you understand that everything in this portion of the video is subject to change. That means the final artwork components, maybe even some of the rules, might change once it's released from crowdfunding. That being said, what you have for components, every player is going to have their own player board right here. This is the one for Ironhide, who is the fighter, the blue player. As you can see, the blue components here. You're going to have a blue meeple that will be traversing through your dungeon. You will have a score marker that you'll be using on this board right here, which I will show you that here in just one second. You have your own tech tree tiles that you will be unlocking as you get experience points, kept track by your experience point marker. And you have a heart that keeps track of your hit points. There are some player aids, one specific to your character that you're playing as. This is the fighter's character that will explain all of these tech tree tiles and what you can do. You do have one that you start the game with as well. And then you've got the player aid right here. Now, like I mentioned, this is the one for fighter. There are going to be other characters in the game. You've got Woolzahar, the wizard. You've got Nyx, the rogue, excuse me, and Dondarin, the alchemist. Now, every player is also going to have their own bag, and in the bag are going to be some chips that you will start the game with. I'll explain what that is all about here in a second. There are lots of tokens and tiles. You've got some money and some tools that you'll be using in the game. And we'll go ahead and pan the camera up just a tad so that you can see the rest of the components. So you are going to have a market board where you're going to be purchasing more chips to add to your bag, as well as the score track that goes around the board. And you are going to have your dungeon tiles. Now, I just threw them across the board there, knocking over some of the chips, but you've got your dungeon boards right here. These are going to be double-sided. The ones that have 3 levels to them, they're going to be the ones that you typically start around with. And then you've got some additional boards that are going to have only 2 levels to them. They are also double-sided as well. And as you can see, there are going to be some tokens that are already printed onto the dungeon boards. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. There are going to be some cards that you can see at the very top. Here's some additional ones as well. We'll explain what these are. And then as you can already see, because I've tossed them about, there are going to be additional chips in the game. So that's what you have for components. Let's talk about how this game works. What you will be doing in this game is players will have a dungeon that they will be trying to put their tiles into these open spots. Some spots are going to have obstacles in them that are blocking you. You cannot place tiles in those spots. And you will be determining what tiles go in which spots, but you're going to work each level as you go deeper and deeper into your dungeon. You'll be placing your little mini here next to whatever level of your dungeon you're currently working on. And what you place and where you place is going to determine how many points you will get in this game. So how a round is going to work, every player will receive the bottommost dungeon board in this stack. You won't be drawing off the top, you'll be drawing off the bottom. And once you have your dungeon board, you will decide which side of the board you're going to play on. I can see that in this particular floor, this first floor of my dungeon, I've got two bows, two weapons that I could use, and a chest down here at the bottom. But on the back side of this, I've got a couple of monsters that I could kill, hopefully, and a gem that could earn me lots of gold. So I have to decide which side of my board I'm going to play on for this round. We'll just go ahead and use this side for right now. And players will set that in their play area. I'm going to go ahead and pan the camera back down so that you can see how this would work. So looking at my board here and also looking at my tech tree, because this will come into play as you play in the later rounds, not typically the first round because you won't have any experience points to unlock anything in your tech tree. But players will draw tokens from their bags. Now, players will automatically have tokens in their bag, and those tokens are going to be different depending upon what character you are, and it's listed right here at the top of your player-specific player aid. And so as you can see, for the fighter, you have a lot more weapon tokens than you do some of the other tokens, such as the treasures and the artifacts and the chests. So lots of stuff to kill monsters. That's what this black icon is going to be. And lots of gold for the fighter, whereas the other characters are probably going to have a mix of other tokens. But essentially what I'm going to be doing is everybody will do this simultaneously. We'll all draw a token from our bag, and we'll see on our tokens that there are two different sides. Now this is going to be a bow, a weapon, and this is going to be a gold. And as you can see right here, these icons denote that this is specific to the fighter. These are the starter icons for the fighter. So on this side, I could earn a gold, or on this side, I could have a weapon, specifically a bow that is going to do 1 damage diagonally. That's why the arrows are pointing diagonally. And I choose which side that I want it on. And since I already have a couple of bows, I might want to choose to put it on the gold side, putting it in one of the other spots. Or since these are white circles, I don't know if you can see that very well, these circles are outlined in white, I could put a token on top of those, whereas circles that are outlined in red, you cannot typically do that. And I do have to start on this first level, keeping my little meeple here next to the first level. And I would just decide where I'm going to place this in the first level. So maybe I do that there, and then we continue. We draw another token out of our bag, and look at this. I've got another gold coin. Now I do want to point out the differences in the gold coins here. As you can see, there is a number in the circle at the bottom of the gold. And the one on the left here says 2, the one on the right says 1, and that's because the one on the left is worth 2 gold. And so I could place this and have 2 more gold in my dungeon, or I could flip it over and it could be a monster. Now how monsters are going to work, they're going to award you a certain number, a reward, if you kill this monster. And this particular monster requires 3 damage to kill. That's the number in the shield. Now the number over here in the red little bang symbol, that's going to indicate how much damage this monster is going to do to you, no matter what, regardless of whether you kill it or not. So you have to be very judicious about whether or not you choose to keep monsters in your dungeon or you turn them over, because they will always be doing damage back towards you, and you need to be able to survive that damage, because dying in this game is pretty brutal. But anyhow, let's talk about the reward that you get. So if you are able to kill this monster, you will receive as a reward not only 2 victory points, but you will also receive 2 gold and 2 experience. Basically 2 for everything when you kill a monster. And so that's what the star icon means. So I got to decide where I'm going to place this token, again in the first row. Let's say I want some more gold, but let's keep going here and fill up this first row. So here's another token. I'll explain what these tokens are in a minute, but maybe I place it like this. And now that I have this first row finished, I have a choice to make. I could either stop and say, you know what, I'm done exploring my dungeon. I'm not going to draw anything else out of my bag. But more often than not, you're going to say, yeah, let's keep going. And you'll put your meeple on the next floor, and you'll do the same thing, filling up this second floor. And if you wanted to, after filling up your second floor, you can make the same choice again. Do I stop, or do I explore the third floor? Now, if I don't go down to the third floor, any of these printed tokens that are already on my board for a floor that I'm not yet exploring, they're not gonna activate. They're not gonna affect me good or bad. I have to actually make it to that floor to activate any printed on tokens. So coming to the third floor, let's say that I filled up my second floor. This is a chest, and I'm gonna take off these tokens so you can see this chest a little bit better. So chests are going to have a chest on them and have this red background, and then they're gonna have some icons up above that. In this case, we need a potion and a shield, which are other types of tokens I haven't shown you just yet. And what you wanna do with this is you want those types of tokens to be surrounding the shield, either up, down, left, right, or diagonal. But you just want it in one of the 8 surrounding spots, and you want exactly that amount. So only one potion and only one shield. If you can get that, then you'll earn yourself the rewards, which in this case is 5 gold and 2 experience points. Now, let's say you got 2 potions and 1 shield surrounding this. Well, yes, you met the requirements, so you will get the rewards, but you will take damage for not having the exact number of requirements. And so you would take 1 damage in that case. Now, if you don't even get the bare minimum, 1 potion, 1 shield in this case, not only will you not get the rewards, you will also still take the damage. So that's where shields or chests come into play and why they are tricky. The round is going to continue, and if you fill up your entire board, you could then continue on by taking one of the shorter boards that I showed you earlier, again drawing from the bottom of the stack and choosing which side you want to play with, and you will put that underneath your big board. And when you do this, you get the option to shift it 1 space to the left like this, or 1 space to the right like that. And anyhow, you would place it underneath your board, and you would continue on exploring 4th and 5th floors if you want to do so. But a round is going to end when all players have decided to stop, or you've drawn all the tokens from your bag. At which point you're going to resolve your dungeons. You'll give yourself gold, you'll kill the monsters, you'll take damage, and then when everything has been resolved, then you will come back up to the main board. So let's move the camera over here so you guys can see this board. This is the market board, and this is where you're going to be purchasing more tokens. So someone is going to be the first player, and they'll receive the first player token, and then you will be purchasing things out here. You'll have 3 actions to use in player order, doing 1 action at a time. And you could purchase one of the tokens that are available out here. You've got your 1 level tokens, and they have 1 little pip on the side to denote that they are level 1. And they are obviously cheaper, but they aren't as great as, say, level 2 tokens, which are going to be a little bit nicer, more expensive. And then you have your level 3 tokens, which they don't even come out until the second round, but they are very expensive, but they are also very nice. They do lots of nice things. So let me show you what some of the other tokens are that we haven't already gone over. As I mentioned, we do have gold, but we also have potions. Now, potions are going to give you more life. They're going to help keep you alive, and you will earn your potions at the very beginning of resolving your dungeon. So hopefully you get some health before the monsters take away that health. Here's another example of a monster. And on the back side of this is going to be a shield. So shields are going to help take up some of the damage that monsters would do to you, so long as you place them adjacent to monsters. So this shield has to be up, down, left, right, adjacent to a monster. Whereas this particular armor does the same exact thing. It's just that you could place it in any row or any column as a monster, so long as there's not any obstacles blocking the path to the monster, and it will absorb some damage. Now, there are multiple types of weapons. There's going to be these staves, and they're going to do damage all the way across the rows and columns. You do have swords, which will do damage, but only to that which is adjacent, up, down, left, right. And as I've already shown you, you've got the bows that are going to do the diagonal damage. And there are going to be some artifacts because you are exploring dungeons. Now, artifacts are very nice. You want to try to put your artifacts touching each other in a big group. The bigger the group and the more different types of artifacts, because here's another type of artifact, you're going to earn lots of rewards for that. Then there are your gems, which gems are going to be nice if you can get them next to gold, because they'll earn you not only additional gold, but sometimes they'll earn you extra XP or even victory points. And that's largely the gist of the tokens in the game. I did explain to you already what chests are. And so you will be purchasing more chips, putting them into your bag when you do so. But if you don't want to purchase any chips out here, you could visit one of the 3 shops that are available to you that will earn you extra tools. We haven't really talked about tools, but tools are going to be the things that help you to, if you draw a chip that you don't really like, you can spend a torch and it will allow you to draw another chip. Ladders help you to move further down into your dungeon without having to complete the different floors. And then keys will help you to complete chests if you didn't get all the requirements for them. So this one here will get you more tools. This one will help you to heal yourself. And this one here will help you to get gold and a torch. So that's what the different places you can go to out here. And the only other thing that I haven't shown you guys are going to be those tarot-sized cards that are up here at the top. And essentially what these do, they tell you a little bit about what's happening with each round of the game. They'll show you what you're starting the game with in the very beginning, such as 5 gold, 5 health, 2 torches. And then each round you will flip one of these over and it'll change the rules somewhat, just a little bit, such as giving yourself extra points for floors that you have monsters on. And so this is going to encourage you to want to put monsters into your dungeons. And each round's going to be a little bit different, but then once you get through the 5th round, the game will be over. You'll see who has the most points. Now there is a little thing about the score track, and it's these little mugs of beer throughout the track. And what this is talking about is, let's say that a player is right here, and then another player is going to be here on the 1. Every mug of beer between you and the person that's in front will earn you some sort of benefit. And that benefit might be extra gold or it might be extra health. And you could mix that up even. You could split it up and say, well, I want some gold and I want some health. And so that's a little bit of a catch-up mechanic that you'll receive every round of the game as well. But ultimately, whoever has the most points at the end of this is going to be the winner, and that is how you play Satchel Quest. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Satchel Quest. And Sam, the first thing I want to get into with this particular game, this is a bag building kind of game. And bag builders are one of my favorite kinds of games. I know that you like Quacks of Quedlinburg and that kind of bag builder. What did you think about Satchel Quest?
I don't think me and you have played a lot of bag builders.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. Yeah.
And I think I tell myself I don't like them, but I really do love Quacks, and I did enjoy this, so maybe I just haven't played enough of them.
Well, there's not very many of them out there, and I feel like...
We do a lot of engine building, which maybe I'm getting those mixed up a little bit.
Well, and I think there's, unfortunately, for whatever reason, there just hasn't been a lot of bag builders, and then the ones that do exist are either hit or miss. Like, they can be really good. Like, my favorite game of all time is Orleans. And I love that game, and I like Quacks. And then there's some others that can just be kind of duds. I feel like this is a very good bag building kind of game. And what I really enjoy about this one that is so unique as compared to all the other bag builders we've talked about is that you're going to use every single thing that you put in your bag. Like, that's pretty unique because more times you're just hoping you get the right thing out of your bag. Well, in this one, you're going to be getting everything out of it, which, really means what you put into your bag is really important.
Yeah.
What did you think about the strategy and buying the right kind of chips and deciding where to put it in your dungeon?
I mean, I think anytime I play a game like this, like at the beginning, the figuring out what your specific strategy is going to be is always difficult for me. And I always feel like I'm kind of making up for the first round because...
Sure.
Which I'm sure other people felt the same way too, but it's just kind of like, I don't know how they're going to come, how my chips are going to come out, what that's going to do for me, how that's going to change what my plan is. But overall, I think like you're trying to get points, and it's pretty easy to figure out which ones are going to give you coins, which ones are going to give you victory points, and so forth. Like the iconography was pretty simple.
Yeah, I thought so too. I don't feel like it's overwhelming the number of types of chips that you have in the game. And I think it's pretty straightforward that the chess...
I think there was only a couple times where I had to be like, what does this mean again?
I feel like the chests are maybe the most
Yeah.
complicated because they do have lots of...
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say lots, but they have the most icons.
And they're like really basic icons.
Yeah. And again, this is prototype, so maybe the final artwork might make it pop out a little bit better or stand out a little bit more. But I didn't even think that was super complicated.
No.
It was maybe the part of the game that I had to think through the most because it's you either get it or you're taking a penalty, and that penalty can be pretty brutal. So that was an interesting part of the game. But I also feel like that in this one, you're making a lot of choices. Because not only are you choosing where should I put this on my board, but you're choosing which side of the chip that you're using too. And every chip that has maybe a negative thing on it, like a monster, on the other side almost always has the opposite, like a potion or gold or something really nice.
I think I would forget to like
look at both sides.
Yeah, like I think I was like, okay, gold, put it down.
Yeah, right. And then on top of that, your dungeon is also double-sided, so there's the choice in choosing which side of the dungeon you use.
Yeah.
Just lots of good choices in this game. I thought it was a really fantastic game. Offers a lot of gameplay experience in about an hour, and I would think maybe as you play this, you would get even faster into it, and it would be under an hour experience. So I really enjoyed it. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good game.
This is Satchel Quest. It is coming to us from Weird City Games. Again, this one's going to be running on crowdfunding here in the very near future, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video now that you've watched it. And while you're down there, make sure to leave us some comments.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.